What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So in this one, we're going to be talking a little bit about AMC here. So we're going to be taking a look at the technicals on that 4-hour time frame that has been an awesome indication of where we're most likely going to head over the next couple of trading days and weeks. Now, in addition, we're going to be talking a little bit about the Ortex data very quickly and a little bit about the option chain as well going into the end of this week before the stock dividend is going to be paid out. Now, there's two main things that I want to go over with you guys in this video. One, there's another fund that is taking very significant losses of about $23 billion to be specific. Now, the second thing, I've talked about this a couple of times in the past, but I think this is something that we really need to focus in on and fully understand. And it's when is AMC actually going to be over? In my mind, when we take a look at some of the things that I'm going to show you guys, technically it's never going to be over. And I know that term over is going to spook some of you guys, and I get what you're saying. You think over means squeeze up to the crazy high numbers that a lot of people are really expecting. But in my opinion here, when we're going to take a look at this here, when the stock runs up aggressively, there's going to be more shorting at the top. It comes back down, and you can see these massive runs and sell-offs basically for the remainder of however long we're going to see these massive runs and sell-offs for. So again, I do want to talk about with you guys and really kind of prepare you for the things that we have to come. So before we get into all of that information, if you enjoyed the information and analysis that I provide for you in this video, make sure you go down and hit that like button. It costs you nothing to do it, but it really helps us out a whole lot in getting this information out to as many people who want to learn. And if you guys do want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. So let's actually get into the charts right here. In pulling up this 4-hour time frame on AMC, you're seeing these closing candles below this 13 EMA on that 4-hour time frame. Now, that's something that we've been talking about a lot. It has happened a few times, and we have still run back to the upside, so it's very possible that we see it recapture this 13 EMA and continue back up. But again, those downside targets that we're looking at, that 48 EMA, on that 4-hour time frame here, that's currently sitting at around $21.26. I don't think that's out of the question. And again, with my kind of expectation of what's going to happen with this dividend, I think it's very possible that we run up and then sell off after this dividend is actually given to us. Does that mean, oh no, everything is kind of going to shit? No, not necessarily in my opinion. I actually think that ape dividend is a really, really good idea going forward with the business. But as we say a lot, these situations are going to take a lot of time to play out. Now, looking at kind of the RSI here too, cross below the moving average, MACD flipped into the red, showing a little bit of bearish momentum, but we're also seeing the shaft trend cycle signaling to the downside as well. Now, again, I know a lot of you guys are most likely still holding options. Again, you have to be able to understand and read these charts specifically on these longer time frames in order to understand this is what we're looking at and this is where things could go in the short term. And again, our new Invictus algorithm, the new alert system that we have that we just released on Friday, was actually able to tell you before AMC went on these big moves down that it was going to go down. So if you guys are interested in that and learning a little bit more about this strategy and all of the awesome things that we have coming up for you guys, make sure you check out that link down below. The algorithm that we're going to be releasing that actually trades on the daily time frame called Pythagoras is actually up right now. Let's see if we can drag this into the screen. So Pythagoras, this is the screenshot of the notice of his portfolio. In the first month of trading, just on shares, he's up 35.56%. I posted the beginning and ending values of his portfolio every single week on my Twitter as well. So if you guys want to check that out, again, go over to my Twitter. But if you are interested, make sure you check out that link down below. Now, let's get into the Ortex data right here. Give this a little bit of a quick refresh. Again, it doesn't tell us really anything all that specific. It just tells us that the stock is still shorted, and it gives you that little bare baseline minimum of to what degree are these stocks actually shorted. So AMC right now, 18%, still heavily shorted. Is this the actual number? Most likely not, but that's the number that we are seeing over here with an average cost to borrow of about 8.34%. and about 134 million shares on loan. Now, coming over here and taking a little bit of a look at Stonko Tracker and taking a look at the options data here, we've got 68,000 call contracts in the money for this week with only 15,000 put contracts. It's pretty good. I mean, we're seeing that there's more calls in the money. So when these market makers do start hedging these, if we start to see more calls running in the money, we are going to see a little bit more buying pressure actually coming back into the stock. Now, I do want to talk briefly about this fund in this organization that has been taking some very, very significant losses recently. So coming over here, this is an article about Softbank. So Softbank posts a record 23 billion loss in their vision fund. Now, coming down a little bit further, SoftBank unveiled a $23 billion quarterly net loss on Monday, its biggest ever, as a market sell-off unpended tech stocks, obviously, and shredded valuations at its sprawling vision fund unit. Now, if you have any experience or have any idea what the vision fund is, Masayoshi-san, I always get his name mixed up. He's known for taking these very, very big bets on a lot of these growth stocks. Now, overall market uncertainty is most likely not going to scare this individual away from continuing to put money into these organizations. Now, we've seen people like this in the past. Bill Huang, Gabe Plotkin at Melvin Capital. Now, SoftBank does have a very, very long track record of having these significant winners. And again, they still have a boatload of capital. But again, even one of these really successful funds is taking very, very, very significant losses in the overall market. Now, I kind of want to get into this situation with you guys and talk about, when is this whole situation with AMC, GME, these short squeeze stocks, when's it actually going to be over? In my opinion, technically never. So when we come over here, I'm actually going to kind of go into this here because I know a lot of you guys might be screaming, oh my God, he doesn't think it's going to go. No, that's not what I'm talking about here. So for AMC specifically, I want to kind of go through something with you guys on the weekly time frame. First, we had this run up here when the stock was already pretty significantly shorted. Let me actually pull up the screen right here. So when we come over here on AMC, taking a look at this, we have this January run up right here where the stock was still heavily shorted and we ended up running back to the upside. But what do shorts do when they see stocks overextend themselves like this? Well, they short it even more. So they short it back down. It kind of hangs out at these levels for a few weeks, then starts to move back up. Boom, we get that run all the way up to 72. Now, what do the shorts do then? Well, some of them are getting out of their positions up here. Not all of them, but the people on the sidelines that see this stock rally up this high, well, then they pile in as well up at these higher levels once they start to sense weakness. So then the stock comes back down, consolidates for a little bit, runs back up, and you just see this cycle repeat where some shorts get out of their positions, but then people on the sidelines that are seeing a stock wildly overextend itself in terms of what they believe to be the fundamental valuation of that company, well, they're just going to come in and take in their mind is a valid short position, which honestly doesn't make that much, or it does make a lot of sense for these institutions to be doing. You see a stock skyrocket higher than most likely anybody in the market would say they're fundamentally valued at, and then the shorts absolutely pile in, creating even more short interest at those lower levels, creating that possibility for the stock to run again. Now, this has happened a couple of times previously with some other stocks, specifically Overstock, OSTK over here. Remember, this is one of those other stocks that has squeezed many, many, many times in the past. You can see this going all the way back to basically the beginning of the 2000s here, where we saw this big run up, sell off, big run up, sell off, consolidates, big run, sell off. It just keeps repeating this cycle. So the main point that I want to get across to you guys here is not that AMC is not going to go ever. It's you have to pick your points on when you personally are going to decide that it is over for you. Could this thing continue to kind of make this cycle rip up, come back down, rip up, come back down? Yes, absolutely. But that's probably going to take many, many, many years in order to see these cycles actually play out. It honestly could take 4 months for these cycles to play out, or it could take 4 years. Nobody really knows. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I say, well, most likely it's going to take a long time to play out. And again, kind of looking at this right here, I want to make something absolutely clear because I know a lot of people in the comment section are going to be like, well, this kid's a shill. It's like, that's not the case here. I'm just trying to give you guys an accurate representation of what is most likely going to happen when we see these big runs back to the upside. You see lots of shorts starting to get out of their position, a potential big gamma squeeze coming up here. Well, and then you start to see more shorts pile in at those higher levels to push it back down, thinking that the company has overextended itself, and then the whole cycle repeats itself. So that's kind of going to wrap up this whole situation that I see kind of playing out over the next few years with AMC right now. I know we have a lot of interesting things coming up with this share dividend. The chart is looking pretty interesting here. Again, I would like to recapture. Let me pull the screen back up here and pull up AMC again. I would like to recapture that 48 EMA on this 4-hour time frame in order to really have us going back to the upside. But again, we really need to break that 2750 and then make our way all the way back up to 34. So that's going to wrap up this video, guys. If you did enjoy the information and analysis that I provided for you in this video, make sure you go down and hit that like button. It costs you nothing to do it, but it really helps us out a whole lot in getting this information out to as many people who want to learn. And other than that, guys, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.